Okay, so quick tutorial here on how to create a spreadsheet where you can track the hours for your families, for your students. So you just go to Google Drive, you open up a Google Sheet. It's a pretty boring Google Sheet. I'm going to leave this here open, the first row. And then here, I'm just going to go ahead and write down the column headings. So for example, I think date is what I have first, then time, hours, how many hours I spend. And then on my spreadsheet, I have a section for their meeting notes that I'm going to be taking for them. And I'll see if I can include that in the video. So I'm going to go ahead and put that, put that here. Okay, so basically I'm just going into each cell and I'm typing up, what did I have here? Hours, I think. I'm going to make this a little bigger. And then I think like special notes, circumstances. Okay. I think that's it for now. I'm going to try to get a little bit fancy here. I'm going to go ahead. I'm very tidy, I think, with my spreadsheet. So I'm going to get rid of these extra columns. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight. Let's see here. So I go to this column, column F, which I don't need. And I'm going to swipe over here to letters V, and then I'm going to go to edit, delete these extra columns. Okay. And I can also delete the rows. So for example, I'll just go ahead and make my worksheet have 40 rows for now. So 40 meetings or 40 instances that I'm going to track. I'm going to go ahead and slide down and highlight all of this. All of these rows. I'm going to go to edit and delete these rows. Okay. So that's the first thing. After this, I'm going to get, I guess, a little fancy. I'm going to highlight these cells by clicking on each cell, holding down the shift button, and then highlighting the rows that I want to change. I'm going to go ahead and make this bigger. And you'll notice here that this information falls away to the wayside. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this cell, come over here and format it. I'm going to have it wrap around so that it can display all the information here so that I don't have to scroll through it. And then one last thing that I'm going to do just for formatting. No, it's okay. I'll leave it there. Actually, no, let me do this. I am going to go ahead and write down the name of the student here. So for example, Sylvia Gorgo. And I'm going to go ahead and have this be a whole one cell instead of having 5 different cells here. So like cell A, cell B, cell C for this first row. I'm going to go ahead and have it just be one cell. So I'm going to highlight cell A1 and hold down the shift key and come down to E1. And I'm going to go ahead and use this merge cell function. So merge cells. Okay. Now I'm going to get super fancy with this. I'm going to make it a different font just to make it fun. That's the one I like. And I'll make it pretty large. Okay. And just in case, I'm going to do text wrapping, although it doesn't really make sense, make any difference. I think this is fine. Okay. Okay, to make this pretty, because I do like the aesthetics of spreadsheets, I'm going to go ahead and make this whole cell a different color. So I'm going to make it green, and I would prefer so see, it's all cell there. I dropped the paint bucket there on all of the cells, and I'm going to go ahead and prefer that my text is not black, but it can be white. Okay, so that's whatever, aesthetically pleasing enough for me. Okay. So now, that's it. I think that's all I do. I mean, you can make this a little bit prettier here, I guess, if you want. You can go ahead and make these cells have the alignment of this text be in the middle instead of down at the bottom. You can also, while you highlight these cells, so cell A2 all the way to cell AE, if you want to go ahead and maybe make a barrier there, you can go ahead and add a border. I'm going to use a bottom border here, and I'm going to make it thicker than that thin line. And I'm going to use, not green, I'm going to use a navy, since those are my colors. And I'm actually going to do a border around all the cells to just kind of make it pretty like that. I guess that looks fine to me. Okay. One last thing that I'd like to show you in this short tutorial is you can, by the way, you can also on my spreadsheet, the one that I shared on the Facebook page, I had a line between the information of when I had my meetings. And I had other information here that I wanted to have the student take note of. So I'm going to go ahead and make another line here. I'm going to select cell C3 and I'm going to scroll down, hold down the shift button all the way to cell C4, and I'm going to make another border there. This time I'm going to make this right border, and I'm going to keep that blue as well. Okay. Okay, oops, let me get rid of this here. Meeting notes. And I'm going to go ahead and every time that I create that, sorry, every time that I meet with a student, I pull up a meeting note document. It has the agenda and a section for the agenda and a section for, I'm going to create a new document here because I'm going to link this. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to my drive again. I'm going to create a new document. This one's just going to be a Google Doc. This is not my normal meeting agenda, but so for example, I'll just pretend that this is Monday agenda for the meeting that I'm going to have with Sylvia today. And I'll have agenda items. I have a section for notes. And then I have my action items, which is their to-do list. Mine is a little bit fancier. I have like a text box here and a text box there, but whatever. So let's pretend that this is the meeting agenda for Sylvia Borgo. And I'm going to go ahead and create this document. So this document is already created. The way that a parent or a student can see what we talked about today is this meeting agenda is located in the folder section of their Google folders. It's just the folder that says meeting notes. But if they wanted to quickly access this, I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this document's link. Come over here to my spreadsheet, which I'm going to go ahead and call spreadsheet. I'm going to call it time tracker. Time tracker for Sylvia. And if the parent wanted to see that I met with Sylvia today at 9 a.m., for example, and we met for an hour, and they wanted to see what we talked about, I would go ahead and they can go ahead to their own students Google folder and pull up the meeting notes. It'll say meeting notes number 1. So for example there, and then if they just want to see it quickly, I go ahead and hyperlink it. So I'm going to go ahead and select this word here. I'm going to make it bold. And then I'm going to come over here to this hyperlink function and paste the address from the document here, the hyperlink, the link address right here. I'm just going to go ahead and paste it there so that they can easily access it. Okay, you'll notice that it's coming around here. Another thing that I can do here, because this will bother me, so let's say the special circumstances, let's say that I wanted to write down turned in applications on time. Okay, like let's say that happens. Well, I can have this wrap around like I did up here with these words, or what I can do is I can select this column and I can instantly resize it so that it fits to the data. So anything that I type in this column will automatically resize and push over. So see, applications turned in on time, all essays completed. I wouldn't type all this information in here because it's already in the meeting notes. I don't want to clutter this information too much. I don't want to repeat what's already in the meeting notes, but I'm just going to go ahead and show how this information here, I can either have the text wrap around by using this text wraparound function right up here, or I can go ahead and have this whole column be a little bit bigger. I can do it manually. I can just drag over here. But what I want to have this column do automatically next time I type something into this column is I come up here and I want to just have it resize automatically anytime that I type more stuff into this column. So next time I might type turned in all applications and essays completed, letters of rec were not submitted. I don't know, whatever notes I want to leave here. Call parents to discuss to discuss options. I don't know. Okay. Oops, I guess it didn't resize. I thought it was going to resize column A. Nope. I want just column E to resize to fit the data. I thought it was going to do it automatically. Okay. I can do that, or I can just have the text wrap around, which I think I personally prefer in this case because I don't want this column to be ginormous so that parents can see basically all the information here. One last little trick that I want to show you. Let's say that I met with the student 5 more times and I spent tons of time with them. Let's just say that that was 50 minutes, hours. What I can do down here, I make a total column, and I have 2 total columns in my spreadsheet. But for this one, I just want to total all this time here that I have spent with the student. So I'm going to come to this column C39. I'm going to use the function, and I'm going to have them sum up all the hours. Now, what hours do I want them to sum? You see, this is the formula here, equals sum, all in capital letters, a parentheses, and then all the cells that I want them to sum are basically all these cells. Right now, I only have 5 meetings scheduled with the student, but I think eventually I'll probably have 30 meetings or 20 meetings or whatever it may be. So I'm going to select these cells. Again, I'm going to select, let me try this again. Select cell 1, scroll all the way down to all the cells I want this function, this sum to cover, hold down the shift key, and then select the cells. That gives me a total right now of how many hours I've spent with the student. And I can add more hours here, and it'll just quickly add them up for me down here at the bottom. You see this number will change. And that's it. That's just how I create my document. Hopefully that helps. And I'm sorry if I mentioned things that were already very simple. I know that many people have super Excel skills. I actually am quite a novice at Excel spreadsheets, or rather, I should say Google spreadsheets. But hopefully it's helped. Thank you so much.